We're going to be using Slido for questions after the presentation, so I was asked to say that. I'm not sure what that means exactly, but I'm hoping you do. I am the co-founder of Massive Change Network and the Chief Design Officer for Freeman. And I work in the way that George Nelson worked with Herman Miller with Freeman, where George Nelson was never employed directly by Herman Miller, but he really set the agenda for design at Herman Miller and brought the talent and the people together to really make it happen. The kind of insight that I had over the last, over my working life is that we live a designed life, that ultimately the quality of our design is the quality of our life. And when we have bad design, we have bad life. And you never get it back. I used to travel a lot with an architect named Rem Koolhaas when we were working very intensively together. And if we went to a bad hotel, Rem really kind of went crazy and threw a kind of hissy fit. And I used to say, like, Rem, dude, like, take it easy. It's a bad night in a hotel. But actually, over time, I realized he was right, that our time is what we have. If it's bad time, it's bad life, and you don't get that time back at the end. So really understanding the design of life is a critical dimension, and I think we don't really take it seriously enough in our culture. If you think about products and experience, there's a revolution going on in the way that we interact with both of those that is really profoundly changing how we live. Energy and movement, again, revolutionary. What's happening, what's opening up for us in the way that we understand and use energy and movement. Sports and media has been an absolutely explosive area of design where whole new sports are emerging and new ways of experiencing them. You think about how GoPro has changed our experience of sports, that we can be on the board with the surfer in the wave. Health and medical, again, a kind of explosive area of growth. This is actually a military application. It's an exoskeleton that allows for a soldier to carry many times their own weight and walk as a normal, just march as they normally would. But it also has a civilian application. These are all people who are walking for the first time. And you can see that, they're tethered. It's still experimental, but you can see the kind of impact that it has. Leisure and travel, again, 25 years ago, the experience and the interface of leisure and travel were entirely different than they are today. And it continues to be a kind of a huge area of growth for design. And of course, cultural experience, what we're doing here together. And these are all people who are on their way to Comic-Con. The average Comic-Con attendee today spends about $750 getting ready for Comic-Con, doing their design job on themselves. And ultimately, urban life is really the kind of condenser. If you think about where, how all of this design comes together as one experience, it's really in that urban life that happens. And that is more and more a kind of, it's more and more our life experience. Over half of us now live in cities. And even the natural world is now a design project. If you think about, how we interface with life, how we sustain our ecologies, we only sustain them by design. And where we fail to design, we design for failure. And you can see around the world that we're actually going back and recovering the ecologies that we destroyed. We worked on the LA River. The LA River was a river. It became a ditch, and they're now making it into a river again. But they're going to make it into a river that has a higher order of complexity, that provides an infrastructure, it provides a utility, but it also provides an amenity and beauty and intelligence of ecology. And it's really a kind of new way of thinking about design. And if you think, when I first started talking about this, my friend said, Bruce, you're a megalomaniac. You just want to control everything. And for me, it's not about control, actually. It's about responsibility. What responsibility do we have to design and sustain the life around us, the life that sustains us. And for me, that's the real kind of project of design.